Alright, hello guys, this is Badass, and this is Ojama and Yee for Smogon Superstars. Ojama's going to lead off with a Jirachi. Most of those guys are usually scarfed. I've seen a couple expert belt leads with Stealth Rock, but I'm pretty sure that it's scarfed. As Elf, again, most of them are choice banded, but it actually looks like this one is indeed a scarf version since Jirachi wasn't faster than it, and like I said, a lot of Jirachi leads are scarfed. Ojama was just going to head right into his Starmie to try to spin away those rocks, and since we're pretty sure that Azelf is choiced, looks like we're going to see a switch here, possibly to Rotom, to keep those precious Stealth Rocks up. As we know, Stealth Rock is such an important part of DP. And yeah, here's the Rotom. He's not going to take any damage from that. There are no rocks up. And now would be a good time for you to double switch to like maybe an Infernape if he has it. Yeah, I've figured that a Grass type might be coming in, but a Heatran is another good choice. I don't know if I would have used Will-O-Wisp there since Heatran is such a good switch in to Rotom, and most grass types do have Natural Cure. Maybe Thunderbolt or Double Switch would have been a better move. But either way, he's going to send in his Heatran on Ojamas, which is a risky move since a lot of them have the Shaka plus Earth Power, and he could have even Earth Powered right off the bat if he was feeling risky about it. But he wasn't, and he wanted to get up his rocks, which is actually a smart play. Residual damage racks up. And he goes for the Earth Power, misses Flygon, and he's going to do a really ballsy move here that I kind of see a lot. Flygon, most of the time when it comes in, it wants to U-turn. So you can just stay in with something that's obviously KO'd, and it's going to have to U-turn out. And since it looks like that was his main ground resist, he's just going to go to his Starmie, and he's going to get destroyed by a Specs Earth Power. That's going to do 80% damage, and that is ridiculous. Specs Heatran is probably the strongest guy in Diamond and Pearl. Now, I think myself I prefer Life Orb Heatran just because of the fact that you can put off a boom until the end of the game, and that can really turn the tides of a battle. Destroying Blissey, Vaporeon, something like that, and actually right here it looks like he has Specs Rotom too. Well, I don't know. Breloom is pretty frail and didn't do a lot to Heatran. Actually, I think that is a Scarf Rotom. Well, I've seen special defense Breadlooms more often. Is the only reason why I speculated that it was Specs. I mean, it still could be. Yeah, I'm really not too familiar with the damage calculation for Shadow Ball and Rotom, but if I had to hedge a guess, I would definitely say, okay, that Heatran is offensive, so I definitely say it's Scarf. Let's see, Shadow Ball, 60 base power, 150. Yeah, Scarf. Alright, so he's going to bring in his Tyranitar. Looks like it could be Scarfed, but I don't think it is since he already has the Scarf Rotom, and he already has the Spectran. Yeah, definitely not Scarfed. It could be Choice Banded, or it could be Mixed. I'm thinking Mixed is a little bit more likely since he probably doesn't want to overload in Choice users, since he already has the three that we know of, Azelf, Rotom, and Heatran. But he's going to superpower. He's going to take out the Heatran, but he's going to pretty much have to sacrifice his Tyranitar in exchange for that Heatran. Heatran is pretty strong, and even though Tyranitar are usually known as a counter for it, unfortunately, if you're not running special defense Tyranitar, you're going to take a big chunk of your health. So whatever Jirachi does here, going to knock out Tyranitar, and the question is whether he's going to U-turn out, or he's going to try to lock himself in, or whether he's expert built with U-turn. I'm not really seeing it, but I do feel that is a possibility. Ojama, not really known for running the weird sets like some other players are, but it could happen. So he's just going to go for the U-turn. Try to minimize any, getting locked into a choice attack or taking Stealth Rock damage. He's going to go out into his Flygon, which is usually a safe move. It's faster than most things, hard to knock out in one hit, and can always U-turn out if something that counters it, perhaps a Suicune, comes in. And that is the strength of Flygon. It can get chip damage on a lot of its so-called counters, such as Suicune, and I would believe that this is an offensive Suicune if the rest of Yee's team is to be believed. And U-turn's actually going to do a good amount here if he decides to use it, because Flygon does have pretty solid base 100 attack, and when Suicune does not invest in any HP, it's also surprisingly not bulky. It can take Assault's pretty good. You switching it to Heatran, no problem. But I would say I lost the game to Conflict because of it. But I I lost my last chance of winning it because my Suicune took 60% from an Infernape close combat, and that Infernape was not choice banded. So yeah, just be careful with those Suicunes, man. And it looks like he's gonna try to sacrifice his Starmie, which was a good play, but Hydro Pump is gonna miss, and Yee is going to smartly go to his Rotom to prevent Ojama from spinning away those rocks, ensuring Starmie's death either by Rotom or by Stealth Rocks later, and Ojama is just going to sacrifice it. And now he's going to go to his Zapdos. Pretty good switching to Rotom W, although Shadow Ball usually will do a hunk out of it because it will drop special defense. And, okay, yeah, as we see, that was a pretty strange move on his part. Just sacrificing Zapdos. I figured it might have been like a special defense variant or sub roost. And yeah, he just says, what am I doing? Not sure why he would have sacrificed that. And it looked to be pretty important because it does knock out Suicune if it gets a Calm Mind Up, or at least knock it into the range of Flygon. So yeah, that was a really strange move by Ojama. I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe he wasn't thinking properly. But we also have to see what Yee's unrevealed is. That is a distinct advantage in DP. Half of the game is scouting out your opponent's team, scouting out what they have to counter what is usually, you usually have a main sweeper, or, you form a plan during the game. That's a lot of the fun of it. Now, Black and White, I can't say that I'm not a fan of Team Preview it. It's pretty much necessary in Black and White because of just the myriad of threats there are. There's fucking 700 Pokemon. How are you expected to cover them all? So in that generation, I feel it's necessary, and I think in DP it will probably make the generation, probably make it better because there are a lot of things that can just wreck you straight out of the blue if you don't know they exist for the end game. Dragon Dance, Gyarados, Tyranitar, Infernape, Lucario, Starmie, especially with the advent of Life Orb, just giving pretty much very low drawback, very high power increase. But, on the other hand, it does take out that element of scouting that a lot of people see as the good part of DP, the reason that they play DP over Black and White. But back to the game, Ojama's going to send out his Jirachi, probably looking to Ironhead knockout. Ironhead would probably end up defeating a Suicune. I think he needs, let's see, Suicune's about half health. Yeah, with a little bit of luck, he could obviously tank one Hydro Pump, probably not two, but yeah, definitely one, barring a crit. But this is a risky move, sending out this Jirachi, since a lot of the endgame sweepers that you see can set up on Jirachi locked into Ironhead, and they can, if he switches out, it might be a little bit too late. Although Jirachi can usually revenge kill them, just off the top of my head, Lucario, Metagross, Gyarados. Hey, there's a Metagross. Wow. Okay, so this is a bad position for Yee, and he probably should have, or bad position for Ojama. Great position for Yee, but he probably should have seen something like this coming. He did not have a lot of setup sweepers, so he knew that there was probably one waiting in the wings, unless Suicune was going to be his only setup sweeper. And with Ice Punch here and no Life Orb, yeah, this should still knock out, and it looks like this is good game. Ojama really should have been a little bit more careful about the thought of a setup sweeper at the end, but hey, them's the breaks.